What it is, cucks? It's your boy, the hater, up in this mug. And it's time to do what we always do. And that is to review Raw, cucks this. One day late because last night, time got a little bit loopy. I did that other video and I didn't want to give people hater fatigue. So here we are, let's do it segment by segment. But before we begin with the first segment, I want to take a moment to say that I think everybody that watched this knows this was a good episode overall, right? By today's standards, in order for an episode to be good, I think the standard is something excellent must happen. At least one excellent thing or several good things, right? For an episode to be excellent, you got to have more excellent things than not excellent things. The problem with this episode was that even though something very excellent happened, it's almost like a curse, right? The segment was so excellent that the rest of the show completely fell flat. So let's do it and let's talk about it. The show starts out with Triple Cuck. He comes out and he just starts singing the praises of John Cena, right? They're in Boston. The fans agree. Everyone's happy. I didn't like the fact that Triple H did this because I don't really see why Triple H needs to be there, right? Cena is there to address Boston. You really don't need Triple H to come out there. What is the point of Triple H being there up in this bitch, right? It makes no sense whatsoever. But nevertheless, he was there. Cena comes out and he starts talking about how it's almost over, motherfucks. He says that he asked for the tournament to include some NXT jobbers. And then he asked to come to Boston because nothing's guaranteed, blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. And that's what happens, right? The fans are happy. And then Dominic interrupts. Now, Dominic comes out and I'm honestly almost certain that on the internet, on the YouTubes, I was the first fan of Dominic, right? When everyone was saying this guy sucks ass, I was like, no, there's something there. When everyone was saying how Karrion Kross was going to be a big deal, and I was saying he sucks, I was saying Dominic is the answer, right? For many reasons, but the primary reason is Dominic skipped NXT. If you skip NXT, you know you're not a jobber. If you're forced to go to NXT, the company thinks very low of you, right? This is just a fact of life. Think about it. AJ Styles skipped NXT, became a legend. Drew McIntyre didn't skip NXT, is now a jobber. So there you have it. But anyways, neither here nor there. The point is, Dominic comes out and he's got both belts kind of stacked on top of each other, right? Then he's wearing this cloak. Then he's got this neck tattoo. And he's just he looks too accessorized, right? He reminded me a lot of Xerxes from the 300, right? It's almost like this goofy figure, He's lanky and he's got a lot of shiny things. He's got a weird cloak, right? He's got a neck tattoo and none of this shit really does anything for me, right? John Cena comes out in jean shorts and a t-shirt and he looks more badass because he's not so accessoried, right? As simple as that. But in my opinion, this really detracts from the presentation of Dominic, right? He's supposed to be this dirty Dominic Mysterio, but he's so bejeweled. You know what I mean? He's so meticulously presented, but not in a good way. And the primary reason is, even though I like Dominic, one thing I've been saying for the entire run of Dominic is how he needs to hit the gym, right? This is unacceptable. I like the kid, but this is not acceptable. I shouldn't watch this and think to myself, I know for a fact that I would beat the shit out of Dominic in a minute, right? Rey Mysterio is much smaller than I am, but I'm not sure if I'd beat his ass just because he comes off more confident and he's more jacked. Dominic, I would just grab this guy by the throat and smash him on the ground in 2 seconds. And I'm not saying this because the hater is a badass, even though I obviously am. Cucks! But the fact is, almost every man can do this. Dominic is a skinny guy who never goes to the gym. And this is unacceptable, especially considering that he's someone that has a lot of talent in other fields. So when Dominic is out there, he tells Cena, basically, Cena, you ain't shit. I'd beat your ass in every era. And it's he says this without laughing at himself, right? When it's everyone that's ever seen Cena and Dominic knows that at any given moment, John Cena could destroy Dominic. He could destroy Rey Mysterio. He could destroy the original Rey Mysterio. John Cena could tear apart every luchador that has ever lived with minimal effort, okay? So, what about El Hijo de Escalante? Well, fuck El Hijo de Escalante. And fuck Felipe Escalante, too. The point is, it's just laughable that someone like Dominic would go and say this to John Cena unironically, right? There are times when this works if it's said ironically. Like if Taka Michinoku says to The Undertaker, you know what? I'm better than you, and I'm gonna beat your ass, right? Everyone just laughs, Taker just chokeslams him, tombstones him, and that's it, right? Which is effectively what happened here. But Dominic all of a sudden is being presented as this like unbelievable figure, right? It's this guy who has no physical gifts whatsoever, right? He can't do anything interesting physically, and yet he's like fearless when he goes into the ring with like Rusev and people like that. Now, knowing that wrestling is fake, I think really takes away from this moment, right? Because in reality, it's like, you know that there's no scenario in which it would be like me stepping up to Brock Lesnar in real life and being like, you know what, Brock, I'd beat your ass in your prime, right? It's like, why would I do this? Like, we all know I can't, right? I know and Brock knows, right? There's no point in me doing this. It's kind of like, speaking of Brock, when Samoa Joe cut that promo and he's like, look at me when I'm talking to you, right? And it's like, bro, look, this is something you can do if you're feuding with like Christopher Daniels or Frankie Kazarian, you know? But it's almost like the wrestlers shouldn't be allowed to speak to Brock Lesnar this way, or someone like Lashley this way, or someone like Kane this way, because in reality, it's like, you know that in real life, Brock Lesnar would ignore you, right? And that the only reason that you are allowed to speak to him this way is because you know this is a fake sport. Because in reality, if this was a real fight, you would never want to anger Brock Lesnar, right? This is just common sense, right? Why would you ever want to anger someone that you know can destroy you, right? This is not a scenario where they're equally believable, so it's like, oh, I'm trying to get in his head, right? There's no scenario in which Samoa Joe should ever be trying to get into Brock Lesnar's head, because even if Brock Lesnar has gone through the worst day of his life, he can destroy Samoa Joe in 3 seconds. And it's the same thing with Dominic and John Cena, right? The idea that I'm gonna be cocky with him is just stupid, because nobody would ever be affected by this. But anyways, he does this. Triple H, who just happens to be there, is just watching along. Cena says, look, in this town tonight, I'm invincible. So basically, don't fuck with me. And then Dominic just says, oh, I would fuck with you, SA, right, whatever. And then Triple H says, all right, match is made. Right now, Dominic Cena, Intercontinental title. The match is this prolonged, weird thing where Dominic Mysterio pretty much dominates the entire match. They do the Eddie Guerrero spot, which is getting played out real quick. Like, I understand people like Eddie, but he's one of those, like Eddie Guerrero is like the Tupac of wrestling, right? Where it's like he was good, but because he died, people pretend that he was the best. And he obviously wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tupac is not the best rapper. Tupac would never make it. Like, if Tupac started rapping in the year 2000, none of that shit would fly. You know what I mean? None of that, oh, Brenda's got a baby. People would be like, this is corny. You know what I'm saying? People would be like, I don't want to hear this shit, bro. Shut the fuck up. Oh, dear mama, lady. People would be like, shut the fuck up, dog. But anyways, it's the same thing, right? He was good, no doubt about it, but they act like he's the best. So it's time to move on from that shit. But anyways, during the match, it's like Dominic is just beating Cena's ass. Cena has his moments, obviously. He even makes Dominic tap out, but the referee's gone. Cena hits an AA. Dominic kicks out because the new referee doesn't get there in time. Then, long story short, Dominic hits a 619, right? And then he hits the frog splash, which is his finishing move. You know, I understand this is Cena, but he hits it. Cena takes the move. Then Cena just rolls backwards and does like the Cena catch thing, right? Except he didn't catch him. He just got hit by frog splash. He picks him up like a piece of shit, right? There was a time in the match where Cena's like pretending he's struggling to pick up Dominic, but you could see that when he did this, there's no struggle at all. Cena still has all his strength. So he does it to Dominic and pins him. Cena now becomes the WWE Intercontinental Champion, right? The only title that was missing, and he becomes a Grand Slam champion. Not that he needed it, but hey, fuck it. You know what I mean? If you can have this massive tournament for the right to fight Cena, you might as well make it for the IC title as well, right? So anyways, this ends the segment. Cena celebrates. He says the champ is here. And then he shakes hands with jobbers backstage, including Rey Mysterio, who is not a jobber. Let me correct myself. He shakes hands with everyone else who's a jobber. And Rey Mysterio is a legend. And Sheamus, who's kind of okay. Then after this, it's time for Damian Priest. And we get a Veterans Day vignette, right? It's going to be Rusev versus Priest to determine who's going to advance in the John Cena tournament, right? Absolutely nobody could care about this at all because the show has already peaked. And this was the problem with the show. It peaked too early, and the rest of it was just a waste of time. You know? So therefore, this review is also going to go fast because we have nothing to talk about. The match was uneventful, like I said, and basically, it just turns on the idea that Damian Priest's eye is still fucked up. Well, if his eye's so fucked up, why is he wrestling all the time? Why is he cleared? Basically, the match is 50-50, and then Rusev rakes his eye and then hits the Machka kick. I'm tired of these big guys with kick-based finishers. Rusev, his biggest problem in wrestling, in my opinion, has been his moveset, right? Nobody gets excited to watch a Rusev match because you know that the best you're going to see is a super kick and a camel clutch. Literally the two most boring moves of all time, now that the super kick is used by everybody, right? Same thing with Drew McIntyre. Nobody wants to see a Claymore. People want to see, like, lifting moves. People want to see someone grab someone and throw them. A choke slam, a tombstone, even a pedigree, right? So that's how that one goes down. Afterwards, we see like a vignette or a segment, I should say, with Maxine Dupree. She's talking to what's-his-face, to Adam Pearce, and then she just gets attacked by Becky Lynch, so that's going to happen soon. They put over some action figures. They have Wade Barrett playing with some action figures. For some reason, they made a Dusty Rhodes action figure that only neckbeards are going to buy. Like, people are going to be like, what the fuck? Who's this fat guy? Is he like a new wrestler? They're going to be like, oh, Dusty Rhodes. What is he like? Cody Rhodes' long gloves? Oh, shit, it's his father. Great. Nobody's going to give a flying fuck. CM Punk comes out. He's mad at Logan, even though he's been getting his ass beat by like the Vision for like literally like a year on and off, right? Because he's been feuding with Seth Rollins for like over a year. They were feuding before WrestleMania. And but now he's mad at Logan Paul. So he calls him out and Logan comes out. Logan says that Mayweather punching him sucks less than getting tsunami. I like that. He put over the tsunami. The Vision comes out and Heyman gets the mic. Heyman says CM Punk is an unlikable ass and that only AJ Lee is more unlikable than him. Punk then says if AJ was here, he'd beat all their asses. God, I'd love to see that happen. I would just love to see AJ Lee attack Bronson Reed and for Bronson Reed to tsunami her so we could guarantee that in kayfabe she's gone forever. You know what I mean? But that's what I gotta say about that. I'm fucking sick and tired of AJ Lee being brought up like she's fucking Hulk Hogan. AJ Lee sucks. She was not a big deal when she was a wrestler. She's like a 2-time women's champion. Nobody cares about her at all. She's completely forgettable. Completely forgettable. Like Stephanie Vaquer, who's been around for like 3 weeks, has already had a better career than AJ Lee. But they talk about AJ Lee like she's this goddess. Man, she was an NXT jobber. She didn't even win the season of NXT she was in. Number one. 2, motherfucks. People are like, she's aged so well. She's fucking 30. They act like this bitch is 58 years old. She's 30. She looks 30. The hater is 38 now. I look exactly like I did 10 years ago, right? People don't age much in their 20s and 30s, dumb fucks. And quite frankly, aside from the fact that like I have a different haircut and the hater needs to lose a couple of tons up in this bitch, beyond that, like I'm very similar to the way I was in college, in my early 20s. People don't age that bad. She's aged completely normal. You're like, she's aged like fine wine. Are you retarded? Do you even know what the point of that saying is? Age like fine wine. 20 to 30 is not even that much aging. Like, you're not supposed to change that much from 20 to 30. If you do, you have shit DNA. But it is what it is, cucks. Anyways, after this, the heels go to attack CM Punk. Out of somewhere, comes Jey Uso to protect Punk, right? Cucky then comes out, and the fans sing his song without playback, right? Because he comes out with music, but he runs to the ring and the music cuts out. And the fans are like, adrenaline in my soul, which really proves that everyone there in Boston is a fucking neckbeard. They fight, the 3 faces humiliate the 3 heels. What else did you expect? You know what I mean? Like, what else did you expect from this shit? Like, the faces are going to win every single time. Like, I don't see a scenario where this matters at all, right? Like, because obviously Cucky Rhodes got the mic and said, War Games, right? Well, not really, because that happened later backstage, but you get the point. He grabbed the mic and he said like, oh, da-da-da-da, and he threw the mic down, right? So obviously they're setting up the War Games match. That's how you have this motley crew of nobodies, but at the same time, it's like the team of Cody Rhodes, so like, and CM Punk, I should say, and Jey Uso, this team is like, quote unquote, stacked, right? Meaning that like they can easily take the pin and nobody's gonna give a fuck. War Games is one of the worst ideas of all time because it's a match that has zero meaningfulness, right? Nothing happens as a result of winning or losing War Games. Nothing at all. They're just like, oh, here's War Games. People have the match, and that's it, right? The winners win, the losers lose, And then they come out the next day and say the same shit. But it is what it is. I know people like it. I personally hate it because I'm a big fan of Survivor Series, like the match. And, they had to get rid of that shit to give us cut games. But anyways, that's what happens, right? After this, it's Stephanie Fakir versus Raquel Gonzalez, right? Or Raquel Rodriguez. I forget her name now. It used to be one and they changed it to the other. I think she's Raquel Gonzalez. Now, I have a problem with this match for multiple reasons. First of all, Raquel keeps getting title shot after title shot. Every month on a random Raw, she gets a title shot and she never wins. So it's like there's no point in watching this at all, right? Furthermore, that was problem one before the match even started. The match is a botchy, unathletic mess. Stephanie Fakir is not good at her job. I'm sorry to tell you, motherfucks. These are just the facts. The hater also wants to point out that I'm strapped. You know what I mean? The hater is strapped. I got more straps than Stephanie Fakir's assless chaps. Because this broad wears assless chaps. But anyways, the match goes on, right? Stephanie Fakir, the story of the match is Stephanie does these moves that get countered into power moves by Raquel. So basically, Stephanie will go do a corner meteora, and then Raquel will just grab her or lift her, and then powerbomb her, but it doesn't matter because after the powerbomb, Stephanie just gets up and does the devil's kiss, super kicks her in the face, and then does that bullshit that there's a name for it now. The corkscrew moonsault, right? But she does it so poorly that she misses completely. When John Morrison would do the Starship Pain, and I love John Morrison, but the facts are the facts. He would do the Starship Pain and he would miss 98% of the time. 98% of the time, John Morrison would do the Starship Pain, and then he would always extend his arm, and sometimes his arm would hit. He would do all this crazy flipping, and he would completely overshoot it. So his head and body would land on the canvas, and he would just extend his arm, and then touch them with the arm, and then that's it. The finisher hit, right? This is exactly what happened. Stephanie Fakir does the corkscrew moonsault, misses completely, but she sticks out her arm in the end, and the arm hits, right? Which makes the move really dumb. If you're not gonna land it correctly, just don't fucking do it. This is the highest level of wrestling, we are told, right? This is the highest level. If people here cannot reliably hit their moves, then what the fuck are we watching? That's one thing I do like about Ilya Dragunov, random tangent, is the H-bomb. The H-bomb is a move that you'll never miss, right? Because it's an easy move to hit. And honestly, it just looks devastating. And effectively, it's if Ilya Dragunov does a fucking backflip, then hits the H-bomb, did it become better? No, right? So in this case, Stephanie Fakir could have just, taken a dive kind of backwards and then just extended her hand and hit the person with a hand, and that would be the finisher. So I hated this completely. They both are not good. This was just a disaster of a match. After the match, Raquel and Roxanne attack her, and Nikki comes and saves the day. And then, of course, Nikki betrays her. I actually like the fact that she betrayed her because face Nikki Bella is just like any other face. She's the same thing as face Stephanie Fakir. Heel Nikki Bella is great. I really like Nikki Bella as a heel, And in my opinion, I know this is a hot take, but in my opinion, I think she's the best women's wrestler they have currently on their roster. Charlotte is probably better than her in the ring, and Bianca can do more athletic things, but as a total package, Charlotte or Bianca have the combined charisma of my fucking left sock. They're boring, motherfucks. Nikki Bella is not boring. Nikki Bella is not like an athlete. She's a diva, right? And she, as a heel, can do good things. Tiffany Stratton, fucking Nia Jax is also pretty good, but nothing really crazy there. After this, it's time for a backstage segment. Punk, Roddy Chodes, and Jey Uso talk to Aldis. CM Punk summons Regal, and Regal says, War Games, right? It's always going to have War Games, but we need 2 more people on each team. I mean, at this point, if it's just 2 people to fill in the spots, just get 2 tag teams. You know what I'm saying? Just get one of them can have Finn Balor and JD McDonough, and the other one can have New Day. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter. So after this, it's time for the next John Cena tournament match. This one, it's Nakamura versus Sheamus. Nakamura comes out butchering Michael Jackson's dance moves, right? Which he's been doing for years. Nakamura is a complete waste of money. Nakamura is a complete waste of opportunity. And Nakamura is, quite frankly, someone who never should have found success in this career. He's not good. And I know people have gaslit themselves into believing complete lies. They order one Wrestle Kingdom, and they're like, bah! Nakamura's just not allowed to do his moves here. He does every move, all 3 of them, that he's done in New Japan. This guy's wrestling style is just running around and sticking his knee out. and hoping that it hits. That's literally his moveset. Nakamura is shit. He's one of the worst wrestlers of all time. And the fact that an entire generation was led to believe this guy is one of the best wrestlers of all time really shows how stupid wrestling fans are. Nakamura can barely move. And this has always been the case. This guy's stiff as fuck. He's not believable in the slightest. He's been fat his entire career. He doesn't have one muscle. Oh, he did mixed martial arts. I don't care. I'm not impressed by that shit anymore. You know? I've been watching that show on Netflix, like the 500 or whatever, like 500 Physical Asia. They have like Yushin Okami. He's getting his ass beat by some like random ass Thai, like, you know, CrossFitter. He's getting thrown around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all the UFC fighters do is get their asses, they fail at everything. Like, has a UFC fighter ever succeeded at anything else? You know, really? Basically not, except for the ones that have mildly succeeded and then left and then become UFC. Right? It's never the first option. Like, you can look at like Alex Pereira, right? He's supposedly a world champion in kickboxing. Then he got too old for that shit. So he's like, oh, I can just come to the UFC and I can become the greatest UFC fighter of all time as a hobby. Yeah? Nobody's impressed by this shit anymore. Nakamura's MMA career means nothing. Like, I thought about it during the match. I'm like, if Sheamus wanted to, he could just end this guy's life in 2 seconds. And there's absolutely nothing Nakamura could do. Like, Nakamura beat, like, you know, Fizuhoku Tanakashi in, like, Ryzen 19. Nobody cares. Sheamus would eat all those guys. But anyways, this is a complete waste of time. Nakamura is just beating the shit out of Sheamus. Like, the story of the match was no matter what, Sheamus just gets his ass beat. Nakamura hits every move. Sheamus misses every move. Until a random moment where Sheamus hits the bro kick and then just wins. Right? Complete waste of time. After this, we get Adam Pearce announcing that it'll be Javon Evans taking the massive loss against the returning Gunther. This is a complete waste of time. I know exactly what's going to happen. Javon Evans is going to bounce around like a fly, and then he's going to jump one too many times. Gunther's going to just chop him in the air, and he's going to power bomb him and put the sleeper on him and win. That's it. I already told you the match. There's no need to even watch this. Javon Evans doesn't have a shot against Gunther. And if he wins, I'll be very happy because I don't like Gunther, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's a complete waste of time. After this, he also reveals that it's going to be Solo Sikoa, right? Solo Sikoa versus, and then he does the same thing that Aldis did. He looks at the name and the ball, and he's like, I guess we'll find this out live next Monday. Well, it's probably going to be like Shark Boy or something, you know what I mean? Who gives a flying fuck? But it is what it is. They've already done this, so I don't care, you know? Like, if you have one mystery guy, okay, fine. That makes it mysterious. But, like, all these guys are mystery guys, you know? Like, the fact that you're not going to tell me who it was, I don't give a fuck. You know? Like, I don't know. Like, for example, Damian Priest has already been eliminated. You haven't even announced the entire tournament. And people have already lost. So I don't care at all, motherfuckers. They haven't done this intelligently at all. Anyways, it's time for the main event. It's the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte and Alexa. Charlotte and Alexa are beating that ass. They have them beat. Charlotte gets the figure 8. And then Alexa catches, what's it called? Kairi Sane. I was going to say Io Sky. She catches Kairi Sane. I mean, she obviously botches it completely. But the thing they were going for was Charlotte does the figure 8, and Alexa's supposed to catch in the air Kairi and hit the Sister Abigail DDT. But basically what happens is another botch. Kairi Sane just jumps, and then Alexa just stays there. Like, Kairi Sane was climbing the turnbuckle to do a diving elbow, presumably, or some diving move on Charlotte. Then Alexa just appears, and for some reason, Kairi just changes her trajectory. Instead of going for Charlotte, who's about to make her partner tap out, she then goes for Alexa, just jumps, and Alexa fails to do anything. But when she lands, Alexa just puts her in the Sister Abigail and does the DDT. Another noteworthy botch today was Nakamura going after Sheamus. He goes for the Kinshasa. Sheamus is just standing there. And Nakamura, I think this was Sheamus' fault, to be fair. Nakamura is kind of just runs, does the Kinshasa, meaning he lifts up his knee, because Nakamura's finishing move is he just runs and lifts up his knee. That's the contribution this guy gives to wrestling. But Sheamus didn't move, so Nakamura had to like miss on purpose, which really made him look retarded, you know? Anyways, after this, basically Charlotte and Alexa have them beat. But Nia and Lash come out of nowhere and they interfere. They put a beating on Alexa and Charlotte. They are kind of friends with the Kabuki Warriors, so this presumably is going to set up War Games, and I'm obviously right, because Io Sky comes. Despite being smaller than literally everyone on the opposing side, except for maybe Kairi, Io just beats the shit out of all 4 of them. Eventually, Nia Jax catches her and just kind of pushes her forward, right? And then Lash Legend just completely steals her right in the face. It was great. She does like basically a bull hammer and just knocks her out, right? But then, even though the heels are winning, Rhea Ripley comes out and saves the day. She beats up everybody, right? And then the people start getting up and doing other things. But she beats up everybody, throws everyone out, and then says, War Games! Right? So that's what's going to happen. Now, this is another example of one team being completely stacked, right? The Rhea Ripley team has Charlotte, motherfucks. It has Io Sky, who won at WrestleMania, and it has Alexa Bliss, a multiple-time world champion. The other team, to be fair, has Asuka. Then it has Jobbers. It has Lash Legend, who's achieved nothing thus far. It has Nia Jax, who I like, but she's treated like a mid-card jobber. And it has fucking who else? I'm missing somebody, but it doesn't matter. The point is, everyone here sucks balls. So that being said, this episode of Raw was not that good because, quite frankly, it was something that it happened in a way where if you watch the first 15, 20 minutes of this event, or I guess you'd have to watch the entirety of the match, right? Cena becoming IC champion is awesome, right? It's not just the fact that he became IC champion. It's the fact that he became IC champion and the first segment was like an old school segment where a guy comes out, says some shit, other guy comes out, this leads to a match, right? And the match was meaningful. In my opinion, like I said earlier, Jey Uso losing his title, his IC title, I think was great, right? It's important to Braun Breaker in the beginning. I think a short title run can get it done just as well as a long title run, right? It depends on who you lose it to and how it happens. Dominic's IC title run has been a massive success. He won it at Mania, he defended it many times, and he lost it in a meaningful match, right? Versus, for example, like, who's the US champion right now up in this bitch? I don't even know, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, if somebody else wins the mid-card title, right? Like fucking, like for example, Jacob Fatu, right? His US title run was a complete disaster. Nobody cared about it at all. Sami Zayn's run was a complete disaster. He just lost to Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov is going to be a complete disaster. Just people passing the title around. There's no moment created by any US champion in the last like 10 years, realistically. So there you have it. So, but as a result of that, the rest of the show just fell flat, right? It's like, yo, I just saw Cena. Like, why the fuck do I care about Stephanie Fakir? Like, Cena came out and he's gone. I think I'll leave too, motherfucks. Yeah, this is why the main event happens last, so that you are forced to tolerate the rest of this shit, right? They put like Hulk Hogan versus Kevin Nash last, so that when La Parca comes out to fight Juventud Guerrero, people are like, Juventud Guerrera, right? People are like, oh, I guess I'll fucking stay and watch La Parca beat the hell out of Juvi, so that one day, later on tonight, I can see Hulk Hogan. But if Hulk Hogan starts the show and they're like, did you like that Hulk Hogan match? It was for the world title. Well, now it's going to be Billy Kidman versus fucking Jamie Noble versus fucking Juventud Guerrera. Let's go with that, right? And a triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the Cruiserweight title. You're going to be like, what? I don't give a fuck. I think I'm just going to go home and beat the traffic. So that's why they keep the best match for last. In this case, they didn't do that. I will say, though, that setting up the War Games was cool. So we'll see how that goes. I suspect it's going to go very poorly. But this show was good just because of one segment. And that's the Cena segment and the accompanying match. So I will give this a 5 out of 10. Because this will go down as a moment in Cena's career. And that's a big deal because he only has like 3 events left. So for him to have a moment this big, this close to his end, shows that people sat down and thought this shit through. Right? Now, I'm not saying this was some fucking Shakespearean writing. The entire thing was basically like, all right, let's put the IC title on Cena. That's pretty much what it was, and that's what they did. And Dominic, he did good, right? He put Cena over, obviously, and he did good in the match, and he did good in the promo. But he needs to do good in the gym as well, Simple as that, cucks. So with that being said, why don't you all take care of yourselves and go fuck your own mothers, motherfuckers?